Welcome back to the Grand Slam channel. Today is Saturday, February 15. We got a full slate of college basketball. We also have a couple NBA All-Star festivities as well. Recap of Flex Friday. We hit a perfect slip. Ended up going 5 for 5 if you follow me on my cord. The 2 video ended up going 405. We'll take the 2x and run with it. Today we got a lot of the props that I do like are for the early morning games or the games that have already started. So if you follow me on my cord, obviously we already posted those slips. Some of the games for the afternoon, late evening games are good matchups. Most likely I'll be doing a couple gobby slips for the late evening games. But I was able to find 5 decent props. First one I'm going to be going is Jeremiah Fears. He is my first prop of the day. And for him, I actually took Jeremiah Fears Jr. And unfortunately, they just took off his props. Actually, he's still there. Okay, good. Jeremy Fears Jr. Obviously, there's 2 Jeremys going today. But for Jeremy Fears Jr., I'm going to be taking his steals at 0.5. It's probably going to be taken off the board given the popularity of it. He's been averaging 1.8 in the season. Past 10 games, he's only missed this once. He forces a lot of steals. Forces a lot of turnovers. So I'm going to be taking his steals at 0.5. It's probably going to be taken off the board soon. But that's my favorite one for him. Make sure you don't get it confused with the Oklahoma guard, who has pretty much the same name that he does, except with the junior. Next one is Boyles, and it's probably my favorite one of the day. Colin Murray Boyles. I think every prop is in play. His RA was my favorite, but it just got bumped to 9. I think he lands on 9, so he got some push equity. But at 8.5, you can probably get him on other platforms. I do like him at 8.5. So I'm going to pivot to his fantasy score, which is my second favorite prop, followed by his points and assists. Overall, he's going to have a good game. He's been averaging mid-40s as far as fantasy score. I know the matchup is tough for him going against Florida, but I still think he'll get an average of mid-30s in this one. 31.5, I'll be taking the over. Probably going to get bumped to 32.5 closer to game time. Next one is Aiden Holloway. And for him, I'm going to be taking his points and assist. As soon as Price Picks loads up. Aiden Holloway, points and assists, 13.5. If he has a good shooting night, he can cash that just on points alone. So 13.5, I'll be taking the over going against Auburn. Should be a close game, should be a good game as well. But he can cash that on points alone. He does average about 2 to 4 assists a game. So I'll be taking his points and assists. His points is pretty solid, just got bumped. It was at 11.5, it's up to 12. So you do have some push equity. Next one is Cooper Flag. And this should be a good matchup as well. Duke against Stanford. For this one, I'm going to be taking his Gabi at 17.5. I know his points at 21.5 is pretty solid. I mean, he can go off, but sometimes he does have bad shooting nights. Given the defense that Stanford has, I'm just going to be playing it safe and take his Gabi. I mean, you can take his 19.5. It's a higher paying Gabi. But I'm going to be taking his 17.5. Rebounds can also be in play as far as his Gabi rebounds. Last one I'm going to be taking is RJ Davis. And for him, I was hoping there'll be a Gabi for him, especially on his points department. But I'm just going to be taking his points. He is a shooter. He's a straight shooter. So I'm going to be taking his points. Going against Syracuse, I do have him projected to go over just over 20 points. But I was hoping there'll be a Gabi for him. It seems like there's no Gabis for any of his lines. But 18.5 is probably the best one I can find as far as for the late evening games. Most of the value was for the early games, to be honest. But these are the 5 that I like. Jeremy Fears Jr. over steals. Boyles over fantasy score. I think Boyles is my favorite one and the most confident one. Aiden Holloway, points and assists. Cooper Flag, Gabi points. And RJ Davis. If the Gabi gets posted, take that instead of 18.5. It's real iffy on this. He's either going to land on 18 or over 20. Let's head on over to a couple props that I like for the NBA All-Star festivities. Dunk contest. Mac McClung is trying to go for a three-peat. Matas, he's a good player for the Bulls, rising star, but I'm not confident him in the dunk contest. Steven Castle, I think he's gonna surprise everybody. I mean, he's already surprised everybody yesterday with the Rising Stars game, getting the MVP. He's gonna be a stud for the Spurs. I'm gonna be taking his round one score at 94.5. I took him yesterday on his points, and he smashed that line. Andre Jackson, don't know much about him. Obviously for the Bucks guard. But Mac McClung and Steven Castle for the round one scores, I'll probably be taking these two. And as far as the three-point contest, Damian Lillard is also trying to go for a three-peat on the three-point contest. Obviously, I'm going to be taking him. Buddy Hield might be a sleeper. And one more is Darius Garland. I think these three that I like. I think another underrated player will probably be Cameron Johnson. But as far as Tyler Hero, Cade Cunningham, obviously we know Cunningham as an assist demon. Jalen Brunson. Shot can sometimes be there, sometimes not. And then Norman Powell. I don't think his form for a three-point contest is good for this. So I think Buddy Hield, Damian Lillard, and Darius Garland are my top three. But these are darts. I mean, this is a 50-50. You can go... Anybody can show up for these type of contests. It's usually for fun. But obviously McClung and Damian Lillard are fighting for a three-peat, or trying to repeat as the first 3 points champions for these respective events. So mix and match. Focus on college basketball. If I was you, try to build that bankroll and get your favorite players and do a couple gobbies. I mean, I had KJ Lewis, probably my favorite play of the day, but obviously it is a popular play, so I'm going with this gobby and rebounds. But these games are about to start. I do have Jaden Bradley's points as well. So some of these games I did like the early games. You can also target Mark Sears. This probably starts in the afternoon. So Mark Sears could be in play. I prefer to take his gobby. And that rounds up my props for today. Hopefully we have another 2x, if not a perfect slip again. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Appreciate the support, and see you guys in the next one.